So we're going to get into the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Let's first break down what do they do, right? Or what is the consumer price index from the Bureau of Labor Statistics? Okay, so let's go to like 150. Let me close this one down, and let's see. That's legible. Let me see. Can I get one more? Let's go to 200. Yeah, that's legible. I like that. All right, so Bureau of Labor Statistics will release the monthly consumer price index for May. So, what is consumer price index? The CPI is like a big report card that tells us how much prices are changing for things we buy every day, like food, clothes, and fun activities. It's a way to see if things are getting more expensive or cheaper over time. So, how does the consumer price index work? Well, choosing items to watch. Imagine you have a shopping list with lots of different things you might buy, like apples, movie tickets, and sneakers. The people who make the CPI pick a bunch of these everyday items to keep track of it. Checking prices. Every month, they go to different stores and places to see how much these items cost. It's like when you go shopping and notice how much your favorite candy costs. So remember 50 Cent song, right? You're a window shopper. So they're pretty much window shopping and they're checking the prices and see how that's going. And now they're reporting back on that. So keeping track. They write down the prices of these items every month. If the price of apples goes up or the price of movie tickets go down, they record it. Calculating the index. They take all these prices and do some math. They put it into Mitch's calculator to find out the average change in prices. Think of it like adding up your grades in school and finding the average to see how you're doing overall. So finding out your GPA. So it's the GPA of consumer prices, right? So why is the consumer price index important? So let's do a little bit of understanding inflation. If the CPI, the consumer price index, shows that prices are going up a lot, it means that we have inflation, which is when things get more expensive over time. If prices are changing much, if prices aren't changing much, we have stable prices. Adjusting pay. Sometimes people use the CPI to decide if they need to change how much money people get paid. For example, if prices go up a lot, people might need more money to buy the same things. Government decisions. The government uses the CPI to make decisions about money and budgets. It's like how a family might use a budget to plan how to spend their money. All right, some examples of the consumer price index, right? So food. If the price of your favorite snack, let's say, what would be a favorite snack? Let's say, do you guys remember the Little Debbie oatmeal? The oatmeal, do they call them oatmeal pies? Like those little oatmeal sandwiches. It was like the oatmeal cookie on top, the oatmeal cookie on the bottom, and then the cream in the middle. Or remember the honey buns that we used to get? Do you guys remember when we used to get a bag of Doritos for 25 cents? Now, that bag is like $1.25, maybe $2. What? Yup. So, you guys remember, like, we'd walk to the corner store, get some snacks before school. We used to actually get subs before. So they used to have $3 cheeseburger subs by my middle school. He did, yep. Would walk there sometimes in the morning, sometimes after school. Might get lunch in the morning. You can go there after school. I digress, right? Clothes. If a pair of jeans was $20 last year and it's still $20 this year, the CPI would see that the price hasn't changed. Movies. If movie tickets used to be $10, but now they are $12, the CPI would show that movie tickets are getting more expensive. So the CPI is a helpful tool to watch how prices change to tell us if things are getting more expensive, staying the same, or getting cheaper. It's like a giant thermometer for the economy measuring the temperature of prices. Okay. So there we go. Now, let's go ahead and check the report on the consumer price index. This report was released Wednesday, June 12th, 2024. So let's see. And this is the consumer price index for May 2024, right? This news release was reissued on June 12th, 2024. to correct an error in the consumer price index for urban wage earners and clerical workers. Paragraph of the news release. The release incorrectly stated that the 1 month percent change decreased by 0.1% prior to a seasonal adjustment. The CPI-W increased 0.1% prior to seasonal adjustment. The consumer, they made a typo, so they had to fix that. All right. Your cart now laters. Do you remember now laters? And then they would sell them in school. So someone would buy a thing of now laters, and they'll sell the individual pack, like the individual now later for like, I don't know, 25 cents. You know, we were hustlers in elementary school. All right. We were hustlers in elementary school, but we'll get to all of those comments because I love these comments. All right. Okay. So the CPI, all right. So the consumer price index for all urban consumers, CPI-U, was unchanged in May on a seasonally adjusted basis after rising 0.3% in April. The U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics reported today over the last 12 months, all items index increased 3.3% per seasonal adjustment. All right. More than offsetting a decline in gasoline, the index for shelter rose in May 0.4% for the fourth consecutive month. The index for food increased, so food was getting a little bit more expensive, 0.1%, not too much, but a little bit more expensive in May. The food away from home index rose 0.4% over the month, while the food at home index was unchanged. So in April, that's when at least California and some other places probably started implementing the higher minimum wage for fast food workers. And we saw a massive jump in April, right? But now, because the prices are pretty much stable, it was a minor jump from April to May, 0.4% from food away from home, while the food at home index stayed the same. All right. The energy index fell 2% over the month, led by a 3.6% decrease in the gasoline index. So it seems like gasoline did get a little bit cheaper, but when you are getting your gasoline from foreign countries and foreign entities, and you're not making your own gasoline, it is very, very hard to control the price. Just saying. I'm just saying. All right. The index for all items less food and energy rose 0.2% in May, after rising 0.3% the preceding month. That would be April. Indexes which increased in May include shelter, medical care, used cars and trucks, and education. The indexes for airline fares, new vehicles, communication, and recreation and apparel were among those that decreased over the month. So they're saying that. So increases were. So what got more expensive? Right. Let's say what got more expensive. Let's talk to me like I'm a sixth grader. Okay. Indexes which increased in May include shelter, medical care. So what got more expensive? Shelter, medical care. So housing got more expensive. Medical care. You know, if you stubbed your toe, if you broke your toe, it costs more to get it fixed. Used cars and trucks, and education. Shout out to education getting more expensive as people beg. They beg, please, please.
I'm in a bind, Nate.
Can you pay off my student loans, Mr. Government, Mr. President? The price of education also went up. However, things that went down in price. The indexes for airline fares, new vehicles, communication, recreation, and apparels were among those that went down. The index decreased over the month. All right. So airline flights were cheaper. Unless you're trying to fly to Haiti, that's like $2,000. New vehicles got cheaper. You know this, like the summer, they're trying to get rid of inventory. Communication, so maybe cell phones and maybe I don't know what kind of communication would get cheaper. I don't know. Recreation, you know, it is summertime. There's better weather out there. It's cheaper to go outside and play. And clothing went down because I mean, I would assume that in the summertime that that clothing would go down because in the summertime people wear less clothing. Although I have seen some women's bathing suits that cost like $200. $200. Yep. I don't know. Right? But I think women are willing to pay all extraordinary amount of money for stuff. So who knows, right? Who knows? The all item index rose 3.3% for the 12 months ending May, a smaller increase than the 3.4% increase for the 12-month ending in April. Okay, so that's good. The all items less food and energy rose 3.4% over the last 12 months. The energy index increased 3.7% for 12 months ending May. The food index increased 2.1% over the last year. All right. So this is the chart. We don't have to go through each of these, but it's showing the adjustments and all of that good stuff. Right. And let's see. So let's check a little bit one by one. Food. Let me see something. Let me have this thing up just in case. Just in case. All right. We are. Okay, we're all right. We're doing all right. You know, I have to keep the activity monitor up just to be safe, right? All right. So let's check these one by one. So food. Actually, no. Let's take a quick break real quick. Let's check the chat real quick. Let's see what is going on with my people in the chat. So let's see here. Your car had said, put on the blazer, tighten up the tie. Clark Kent is alive. Okay, so your car is ready for action, ready for action. All right, so your car says he remembers when gas was 98 cents per gallon. I do not even remember that. I was probably too young to even remember that, all right? But hey, that is all. Those were the good old days. Or were they? Were they really the good old days? I don't know. I remember when you could get a handful of candy for 50 cents. Peanut brittle was 50 cents. A bread was like 65 cents a loaf. 2 for $1. Let's not age ourselves too much, right? Let's not age ourselves a little. We're a little too much aging, right? Matter of fact, everything was buy two at normal price and get one free. Man, I miss those days because now when they do those sales, it's marked up and not the normal price. So you're still paying for it. Bruh. That's how they get us. That is how they get us. All right. And what else we got? Your car said your usage on the phone goes down because more people are on break and vacation. So it's not a lot of business going on. Oh, okay. I see. That makes sense. Okay, that makes sense. What else do we got? It says it was 99 cents in 1998 and 1999. When did I start? Even when because one of the things that my mom had me do was probably around that age was to at least start pumping the gas for her in the car. But I never really looked at the prices at that time. So yeah, I probably totally missed that. When I started driving, I think when I started driving, it was still around that price range though. It was probably like in the dollar somethings actually. It wasn't too crazy. It was like, when I started driving, it was like 2001. So it was probably still like close to those price ranges, not like crazy. But although that was around the time that 9/11 happened, so prices probably did start to increase dramatically around that time. But awesome. Thank you for that insight, your car, as always. All right, cool. Let's just jump back to here. So let's see. The food index. So for food, the food index rose 0.1% in May after being unchanged in April. So food got a little bit more expensive. The index for food at home was unchanged in May. 2 of the 6 major grocery stores' food indexes decreased over the month. 2 were unchanged. The remaining 2 had price advances. The index for dairy and related products decreased 0.5% in May, led by a 1.3% decline in the index for milk. The non-alcoholic beverages index declined 0.3% over the month. The index for other foods at home and the index for fruits and vegetables were both unchanged in May. And, around the summertime, especially for fruits and vegetables, those prices start to go down, right? You get some good deals on those. All right. The index for meat, poultry, fish, and eggs increased, got a little bit more expensive in May after decreasing 0.7% in April. The index for cereal and bakery products also increased 0.2% over the month. They got a little bit more expensive. The food away from home rose 0.4% in May after rising 0.3% in the 2 previous months. The index for full service meals rose 0.4%. and the index for limited service meals increased 0.2% over the month. Would full service meals be like fine dining? I mean, like not when I say fine dining, like places where you actually go sit down, you get a waitress or a waiter who come and serve you, and they have the cook in the back and all that stuff. They bring the food to your table. And with the limited service would be like a fast food where they, like you order at the counter. You can still sit in if you want to dine in, but like you're doing everything, more of the things that you're doing yourself. You're just placing the order and they give you the food, and then you go handle your business. So that's what I would suppose that means, right? Let's see what else we got. The index for food away from home rose 4% over the last year. The index for limited service meals rose 4.5% over the last 12 months. And the index for full service meals rose 3.5% over the same period, all right? So that is the food consumer price index. Energy. What about energy? So the energy index fell 2% in May after rising 1.1% in April. The gasoline index decreased 3.6% in May. Before seasonal adjustment, gasoline prices fell 0.5% in May. The natural gas index decreased 0.8% over the month, and the fuel oil index decreased 0.4%. The index for electricity was unchanged in May. Just remembered something. Give me a second here. All right, there we go. I just remembered to some configuration changes to make. Okay, so with that being said, we were here. The energy index increased 3.7% over the last 12 months. The gasoline index rose 2.2%, and the electricity index increased 5.9% over this 12-month span. So gasoline overall over the past 12 months got more expensive. It did go down just a little bit in May, right? The index for natural gas increased 0.2% over the last 12 months, and the index for fuel rose 3.6% over the same period. All items less food and energy. The index for all items less food and energy rose 2.2% in May. So it looks like the energy and the food were the main drivers of the increases. The shelter index increased 0.4% in May and was the largest factor in the monthly increases in the index for all items less food and energy. The index for rent rose 0.4% over the month as the index for owners equivalent rent. The lodging away from home, now I guess that would be like hospitality, like hotels, maybe Airbnb, things like that, decreased 0.1% in May after falling 0.2% in April. People are starting to go on vacation. They might need housing while they're out and about. And the medical care index rose 0.5% in May after rising 0.4% in April. The index for prescription drugs rose 2.1% over the month, and the index for hospital services increased 0.5%. The physician service index was unchanged in May. The used car and trucks index rose, so they got more expensive by 0.6% in May, following a 1.4% decrease in April. So they got cheaper in April, and then it rose again in May by 0.6. The index for education increased 0.4% over the month. And the index for airline fares fell 3.6% in May. They got cheaper, following a 0.8% decrease in April. Also got cheaper in April. Over the month, the new vehicle index fell 0.5%. The communication index decreased 0.3%, and the recreation index declined 0.2%. The index for apparel, household furnishings and operations, motor vehicles, insurance, and personal care also declined in May. Let's see. The index for all items less food and energy rose 3.4% over the past 12 months. The shelter index increased 5.4% over the last year. So housing got more expensive, 5.4% over that index was 5.4% over the last year, accounting for the 2/3 of the total 12-month increase in the all items less food and energy. The other indexes with notable increases over the last year includes motor vehicle insurance. Ooh, insurance is definitely expensive. Medical care at 3.1%, recreation at 1.3%, and personal care at 2.9%. Not seasonally adjusted CPI measures, right? The consumer price index for all urban consumers, CPI-U, increased 3.3% over the last 12 months. So it got more expensive, like without being adjusted. to an index level of 314. 1982 to 1984 was 100 for the month. The index increased 0.2% prior to the seasonal adjustment. Right, the consumer price index for urban wage earners and clerical workers increased 3.3% over the last 12 months to an index level of 308. 308 for the month. The index increased 0.1% prior to seasonal adjustment. The chained consumer price index for all urban consumers increased 3.2% over the last 12 months. For the month, the index increased 0.1%, not a not season adjusted basis. Please note that indexes for the past 10 to 12 months are subject to revision. All right, and that's it. That is it. We're not going to read the technical note, but that is our consumer price index for this week. All right, ending today. So let's go back to full screen. And what we have coming up next, we're going to be talking about the Fed, like the Fed Reserve meeting. All right. But before we do that, let's check the chat real quick. Let me know how you guys are doing. Do me a big favor if you haven't done so already. Go ahead and like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you can know every single time that we go live. Go over to www.techcoachralph.dev to sign up for one-on-one coaching and get access to exclusive content like the agile training that your car and I are going to be doing this coming Saturday. I'm going to be showing, and your car's going to be right there with me, how we're going to plan and write a user story for a new feature implementation. All right.